So we are back with a really special guest. We're back with Carly Street, who plays Rita in Educating Rita, playing at the Segal Centre until December 13th. Rita is a 26-year-old hairdresser from working class England, and she's seeking higher education. So she goes to study with this professor who's kind of at wit's end, and who's drinking, and she kind of changes him, and he kind of changes her, and it's this really nice play, and I saw it last Thursday, and I really liked it. It was funny, it was full of life, and I took my grandmother, and she loved it, so welcome to the show, Carly Street. Carly?
Thank you, Adam. Thanks. It's a pleasure. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm so glad your grandmother enjoyed it, too.
You know, we loved it, and I think that's why it appeals to so many generations.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the concept of somebody trying to change their station, well, it's more of an English concept, but change their station in life or change their level of intellectual capacity or intellectual ambition or personal ambition. I think anyone can sort of connect with that.
I have a particular question that people might not recognize, but I just want to start off the bat with it. I saw you guys come out after the performance, and the guy who plays Frank, his name's Rick Reed.
That's right.
He came out without his hair on, and it freaked me out.
Oh, yeah.
He wears this big, long kind of wig in the play, and it makes him look unruly and kind of scary. And he came out, and he didn't have the hair, and I was like, did he just shave that when he,
Didn't have any hair?
He just,
Dude, it's a wig.
I think everyone was shocked. Everyone was kind of taken aback. No one knew. That wig is very realistic.
The magic of live theater.
So you put on this amazing accent in the show. You put on this like really strong Liverpool accent.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before?
No, and I hadn't. I got an email from the director Marcia Cash about 3 weeks before the production, saying this is actually Rick Reed's going to be doing standard British, which is called RP, received pronunciation. Oh. And it was the Ponty dialect of the intellectual elite, and you're going to be doing Liverpool. And I thought it was going to be like a Cockney or working class London, right? And I went, Liverpool, and this was the even trickier thing. There's some dialects in England. You know how there are like 5,000 dialects in England. There's some where, and I've heard, you hear the Beatles, like, we were just the band, like. But the funny thing about the Liverpool dialect is that the women sound different from the men.
Yeah.
So, but thanks to modern technology, there's the internet. There is a website dedicated to dialects from all over the world, and not just dialects from around the world, but like if you want to hear like a black woman who's 28 speak a Liverpool accent 2 years ago, that kind of detail.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
Can you do a little bit of it for us?
Yeah, I'll read an email. This note is from a high school friend, Joey Wake, who married Diana's cousin, Gary Bennett, in 1967. He's a performer at McGill, and she's a PhD in literature.
That's amazing.
Oh, the Beatles!
Totally. We'll just the band.
You're also kind of like that girl from the Spice Girls who kind of has that like crazy accent going.
Totally. It's funny, when I was working on it, I was like, I think I sound like a Spice Girl. the sporty one, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it's kind of like a bit of I don't know, I wouldn't call it Scottish, but it just has that like twang to it.
It does. It's really musical, and apparently there are a lot of mix, a lot of Irish in Liverpool. They emigrate because it's close to Ireland.
Right. But you
so
do
it's got
it
that
so
kind
well.
of musical aspect to it,
You do it so well, and I think that's what makes the performance so great. I mean, apart from other things, but it's just really like watching you on stage was incredible, and I think the whole audience kind of like leaned forward in their seats to appreciate what you were doing on stage. It was really incredible.
That's really cool. Thanks. That makes me feel good. That really makes me feel good. Well, I'm glad you. I think it's a great play in terms of selling it, because students dig it, because it's contemporary. Like it's set now, so she's somebody who's, young people can connect with. She's just this monologue about you have to pretend that school meant nothing. What you got to be into are things like music and clothes and getting pissed and coughing off and all that sort of stuff. We all get that, right? How it's not, sometimes being interested in education is not in fact the hippest thing to 18-year-olds. And then for older people, it's relating to, well, either to Rita or to Frank.
Yeah.
Understanding apathy and being tired of the system, and tired of the apathy within the system.
Yeah. So besides the Liverpool accent, how else did you prepare for the role of Rita? Had you seen the 1983 film?
No.
No?
I don't go to any of the films.
No, okay.
Sometimes you've already seen it when you get the job.
Had you seen it prior? No. Okay.
No, I hadn't seen Educating Rita, and I didn't go near it.
Okay.
I saw a 2-second clip from it on the internet.
Okay.
And it didn't age well. It had that kind of 70s like sheen, like somebody put a gauze sheet in front of the
Oh Lord.
No, I'm sure it's sorry. Excuse me. I'm sure it's fantastic, but I'm a real I'm a bit of an ape that way, and if I see somebody else do something,
For sure.
it sticks in my head. So I'd rather give the audience and I trust in the director that she believes that my own creation of the role is what will be.
And you get to wear some funky outfits in the show. Like, it's very modern in the way it's dressed because you come out in like a leopard print dress and you have like these colors that are so bright.
Total Spice Girls off the top.
It really is. I don't know if that's the way to sell the show, but it kind of has that appeal to it, that like very vibrant.
Well, it's got that, I mean, I don't know what the relative version of I guess Le Chateau, but it's got that kind of even Le Chateau kind of, like the Uber current, but in fact it's not really current, it's that year behind fashion.
Right, but it also has that glossy sheen to it that makes it so appealing.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a woman who picks out her clothes very specifically, whether you think it's actually good or not. It's a bit flashy, and then she tones it down over the play.
Did it make a difference having the director she was a Rita, the first Rita in Canada?
Yeah.
So did it make a difference to have her as a director?
Well, it's funny because I didn't know that until about a week before we opened. She told me on the first day, she's like, yeah, I have history with this play. And I said, do tell. She said, no, I'll wait and tell you. And then I happened to find out that Marissa, the stage manager, Mr. Torchman, who's brilliant, mentioned it about a week before we opened. And I could see how her experience with the play, numbers of experience, gave her real insight into the movement and the character and the drive and the ebb and flow of the piece as a whole.
Right. Mm-hmm. But were you shocked when you found out?
No, because she said she'd had a history with the play,
right.
And I sort of guessed. I sort of guessed, but not really. I was. It's free. It's not uncommon in the theater to be working with someone who's already, especially with the classics, these modern classics, just somebody who's worked on them before. So, but yeah, she's a brilliant director. She was just knew where. She just knew where it was. She knew where it lived.
Did she ever try to do a scene for you and be like, no, like this?
This isn't Waiting for Guffman. It is the Segal Centre. No, she was incredibly tactful. In fact, a couple of times I was like, "What? Okay, what is that? What does that mean? What is that about?" But she was very, very hands off when it came to interpretation.
Oh, that's awesome. So how was opening night? Because it was your first Montreal onstage appearance since your graduation from National Theatre School in 1999.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty cool, actually. It's been wild. My apartment, it's wild being back in Montreal because my apartment looks right out. I could have a view of the cross and the mountain and the cross. And it was pretty awesome. And my boyfriend, too, he came up the night before opening. He was here, and he went to NTS as well, although he was there after me, not at the same time as me. I found myself a young man. And it was a pretty special experience to be back in Montreal. The city rocks. You guys are so lucky.
Is it different? Is it really different performing here with audiences than audiences elsewhere?
Yes, and I'll tell you what the major difference is. Bless their hearts. This audience is so chatty. They talk to each other like, what did he say? What did he say? Oh, she's jealous. She's jealous of her, of the guy of Tiger. It's so, or else, I remember last night or the night before, I said something and I heard, just before Frank's next line, I heard oh, isn't she cute? And then the candy wrap person, it's this audience there's no doubt they're listening. It's one of the smartest audiences. We had a talk back last night. And man, the questions that some people asked and some of the statements that people had, they were smarter than anything I could tell you guys about the play.
Give us an example.
Well, what did they say?
Well, one woman was saying, she was talking about the green books which make up the lawn outside the set, that surround the set. She said, I think what that means is that, like grass young people need water to grow and to learn and to be nurtured.
Oh, boy.
That's deep.
Wow, dude! I just thought it was a play about a guy and a girl. No, there's. It's about learning, right?